Awesome. We'll start, grab a block and then a blanket if you have, just at this length, and we'll roll up the top edge just a little bit. And you know, you don't want it super thick, but maybe ½ inch to an inch. The thicker it is, the more intense it will be. But we want to get a nice opening in our knee joints so that we can, when the knee joints have space, they can really heal. Great. So we roll that up a little bit. It's nice to have padding under your knees. And then we'll bring this behind us. And the key is to get it way up in the knee joint. So you kind of have to lean forward on your head, opening up that knee joint. Pulling in nice and tight, and then sitting back. Yeah. And so you kind of have to lean forward more than you would think. And then the feet can be together. And if you need more height, then when you go in, just take the feet wide and then sit back and bring your block right under your butt.
Ouchie.
I know. An opener. And so you can lessen that intensity by making your roll a little bit smaller. And then also if you need extra height under your butt, you can just bring your butt up and that will take the intensity down. But the purpose of this is to get those knee joints open. And if you can pull on the outside edges of your blankets towards the floor, that's gonna roll that lower calf bubble towards the floor to open up that knee joint even more. And this is really great for working with any injuries in the knees, really great after running. And it takes a while. It's definitely one that we have to practice consistently before we can get that opening and get that comfort in it. And you'll notice if you've ever had any injuries in one knee but not the other, that knee will probably be a little bit tighter. And so we're just opening that up, and patience with it. And again, if you want to press on the outside edges of the blanket, that will help to get that opening even more. And if it's too intense, then you don't want to. Good. Holding there for another moment. And then come up to seated. Just sitting on your block, keeping the blanket there. And then we're just going to start getting an internal rotation of our thighs. And that internal rotation of our thighs is going to spread the sits bones wide so that we can start getting into the pelvis and the spine. And then our sacrum skin is lifting up towards the ceiling. And our glute muscles, our buttocks muscles are reaching down towards the earth. So we have those two opposing actions. Sacrum skin lifting, which is opening the heart, spreading the collarbones wide. And then buttocks descending, which is lengthening the side waist. And those two actions together really get us into our core, get us into our spine, into our strength. And it creates a neutral pelvis. So the buttocks isn't flared or tucked. And then finding that smooth rhythmic breathing. Lift as though your center heart, center chest was connected to a string up towards the ceiling, and it's lifting upwards and forwards, getting that opening. We're spreading the collarbones wide, getting an external rotation of the arms, top shoulders releasing towards the earth, armpit, chest lifting up towards the ceiling. And so we're doing the shoulder girdle actions, the armpit, chest lifting, the top shoulders descending, and then we're doing the pelvic actions, the buttocks descending, the sacrum skin lifting. And through that, we're really starting to get into our center, into our core. Taking a deep inhalation in through your nose, getting that external rotation of your arms, softening the face, softening the throat. Good. And then see if you can get equal pressure on your left ankle and your right ankle, and your left sits bone and your right sits bone. And it's something we're not usually very aware of because it's a habit. And so most of us will probably have 10 to 40% more weight on the left or the right sits bone. So just go back and forth, put more weight on the right, put more weight on the left, put more weight on the right, put more weight on the left, and see which one feels off or abnormal for you. And that's the one we want to work on. And then exhale, bringing those arms out to your sides, palms facing up. Extending through all 10 fingertips and getting an external rotation of your arms. When we get that external rotation of our arms, the tendency is to bring our front ribs with it, lift them. Do the opposite. Let's keep that external rotation of the arms. Bring those front ribs downwards towards the earth, towards each other, and towards the space behind you. Again, always working with those equal opposing actions to find more strength, more human potential, and to really support the toning of the nervous system. Lengthen through those wrists, lengthen through those fingers. Try and engage the muscles and the skin of the upper arm towards the bone. Keep getting that external rotation of your arms and your shoulders, the ribs reaching towards each other, towards the back of the room. And even if this is challenging or you're really feeling it in your shoulders or your neck, go ahead and soften through the face, soften through the organs, soften through the breath, breathing smooth and rhythmically through the nose. And just a few more moments here, really on working on opening up the shoulders, the back, the spine, the neck. And then we're going to work really slowly and symmetrically, bringing the left palm towards the right palm, reaching above your head, moving slow, trying to move both arms at the same time until they're vertical. Here's where we want to tune into that external rotation of our arms again. So the front of the arm is rotating towards the front of the face. And then those ribs are rotating in towards each other and towards the space behind you. So they're not flaring outwards. Smooth breathing, getting those wrists and those palms parallel to each other. Again, we're working on the neck and the shoulders, so I'm sure you're feeling it. And you can release the scapulas, release the top shoulders towards the earth, and the outside edges of your scapulas towards your pinkies. And then exhale, we're gonna move slowly again, working symmetrically, trying to move the left and the right wrists at the same rate until they become parallel to the earth. Again, releasing that outside edge of your scapulas towards your fingers. Extending through the pinky fingers. Smooth rhythmic breath, softening the face, softening the throat. Softening the face. We're going to tune back into our lower portion of the body. So extending the toes back behind you, rolling onto the inside edges of your sits bones and the front edges of your sits bones, filling up our back body. So reaching the back rib where the kidneys and the adrenals are towards the wall behind you. And then glutes are reaching towards the earth, sacrum skin extending up towards the ceiling, towards the back of your head. Feel a new engagement, activation, and opening in your spine all the way through. Smooth, soft breathing when it gets challenging. And then exhale, bringing those arms all the way down. Nice work. We're getting our shoulder work in while we're getting our knee work in. And to come out of this one, you just lean forward again on your forehead. Remove that blanket. And then you can cross your two ankles and shoot your legs forward. The most balanced way to get out of this pose. And then as we straighten those legs, we're getting that blood flow to any of the tissues that we're not getting it. So it's a flushing, and that's really nice when there's any injury or damaged acidic cells. We're just flushing through the knees in an area that's normally hard to get circulation. And we're in Dandasana, so let's go ahead and get this internal rotation of our thighs, groins releasing towards the earth, sits bones extending back behind you. And as we get this internal rotation of our inner thighs, we also want our outer knees to release down towards the earth. So again, equal opposing actions. We can use our hands behind us if we need to help us get that L shape in our pelvis, that length in our spine. And go ahead and press through the two mounds of your big toes, getting that extension all the way through your body, releasing your toe tips nice and long, drawing the 4 points of the knees to the earth, the inner knees and the outer knees, specifically working with the outer knees today. And then bringing those inside groins towards the earth, rolling on the front sits bones, rolling on the inside edges, extending that spine nice and long. And then tune into your sits bones. Maybe it's different than our last pose. Maybe you actually have more weight on the opposite sits bone than in the previous pose. So find your sits bones, working to get them even. Find the pressure in your heels, the backs of your legs. And lift and engage those kneecaps towards the upper hips, towards the upper thighs. Good, and exhale, come on out. Go ahead and grab your bolster. Sitting up nice and tall. And we're gonna put the bottom of our feet together, the soles of our feet together. And just grab as much height as you need in order to get your pelvis above your knees. So if the knees are above the pelvis, just grab more height, more blocks, more bolsters, more blankets. So we're going to tune into the pressure of our feet. We're going to tune into our inner sits bones, spreading the sits bones wide, rolling onto the front edges of our sits bones, getting on that inside edge. And that's going to start toning the lower spine, the sacrum, and the muscles that hold those in place. And then go ahead and start releasing from that inside groin towards your inner knees, extending those inner groins towards your inner knees. Find a firm pressure in your feet. And as you're opening, spreading wide in the front pelvis, the outside edge of your knee is chasing up towards your hips. Drawing the hips inwards, toning around the hips and the buttocks region. Keep finding that nice opening in the front pelvis and that strengthening, contracting in the back pelvis and the hips. Draw your sacrum towards the front of the room. Keep reaching forward, allowing for more opening in that front pelvis. Smooth breathing. See if you can tone your left buttocks muscle equal to your right buttocks muscle. Most of us have a strong dominant side. So relaxing, releasing that dominant side and activating, turning on, toning that weaker side. Just making that shift from our dominant pattern to a pattern and our habit that we don't often engage starts to make new openings in the neural pathways in the brain. So it also allows us to change some of our thought patterns, some of our perspective, just by making these subtle shifts in our habits. And then exhale, release. We're going to use our hands to draw those knees together, so keep the legs relaxed. Knees together. Go ahead and walk your feet wide. And we're just leaning forward into Malasana, working on the hips, extending through the toes. Again, moving out of our dominant habit patterns and training in our non-dominant patterns. So getting that equal pressure in your feet. You might feel one hip feels open and loose and one feels tight. Just observe where you're at. Softening the face, softening the throat, extending the spine nice and long, making space. Good. And then if you're able to reach forward, extending long. And you can exhale those arms behind you. So reaching the palms towards each other, most likely they will not touch. You're reaching around the front of the knee. And again, this is really opening up, getting a natural curvature in the upper thoracic spine, between the neck and the actual thoracic spine. Opening into the scapulas. The muscle attachments along the collarbones. And just see if you can keep your feet parallel to each other. This is also a really nice gentle squeezing across the front of the pelvis, where our lymphatic system, a lot of the lymph nodes are. So it's basically a dumping ground for cellular waste that we're gently squeezing, cleansing, moving. And that lymph is that root of a lot of the pain that we feel in our tissues. Good, so come on up. As we start to clean that lymph out by getting our kidneys filtering, we start to get to that root cause of any tissue weakness. Good. So go ahead and come seated on your blanket and grab the outside edges of your feet. Again, pressing through those mounds of the big toes and the inner heels. Spreading all 10 toes wide so that we can activate our ankles, our arches, our feet. And then we're going to exhale, lift those feet off the ground. Keep engaging, keep pressing through those mounds of the big toes and the inner heel. Try and spread all 10 toes wide. And then exhale, come up to 90 degrees. Backs of the legs are parallel to the floor. And then exhale, straighten more if you can. Getting that external rotation of your arms. Keep slowly working towards straightening the legs as much as possible. Smooth rhythmic breathing. Keep finding that external rotation of your arms. And then exhale, taking the legs back down. Good. This next one's really for our hips. So you want to get the ankle and the knee in alignment with each other. So it's not like your traditional cross leg pose where your heel is in towards your pelvis. It's actually out parallel to the wall in front of you. So ankle and knee aligned. And then we use our hands to grab that other leg, bringing the opposite ankle on top of the opposite knee. And getting into that opening. This is another one of those intense ones. But even just practicing this for a couple days in a row, a few days in a row, you'll start to see some big openings and some big shifts in your pelvis. So breathing here, if you're feeling any intensity, really practice softening in through the face, softening in through the throat, smoothing out that breath, breathing in through the nose. Nice, Go ahead and extend through the toes, extend through the tips of the toes, reach through the mounds of the big toes and the inner heels. It might intensify the pose a little bit more, but you will get more out of it. And then soften in through the organs, soften in through the belly. Good, and then come in with your hands to move the ankle, move the foot. We're gonna switch sides, so getting the opposite foot parallel to the knee and exhaling, bringing the opposite ankle right on top of the opposite knee. Might be a little different on this side. Smooth breathing. Softening the throat, softening the face, extending through the toes, extending through the mound of the big toe and the inner heels. Lengthen the side waist, lifting that upper armpit chest, rolling the top shoulders towards the earth, towards your buttocks. Smooth breathing, softening the face, softening the organs. And then we're going to exhale, release that leg. And slowly come to standing. Grab a chair if you have one, any chair. Okay. All right. So you can have the back of the chair facing towards the back of the wall. And you're gonna stand, getting your right elbow down, standing on the right leg. And you wanna get an external rotation of that right leg. And then we're down. My left hand is on the top of the chair. And so you're facing towards the back of the chair. Getting that external rotation of your standing leg. And then you're twisting towards the back of the chair, twisting towards the ceiling. Drawing the leg that's in the air up higher. Extending that leg straight. Smooth rhythmic breathing. One of my favorite poses for the hips. Release the back of the neck. Release the shoulders. And then exhale, come on down. And so we're going to flip the chair the opposite direction. Go to your opposite leg, left leg. Getting an external rotation of that standing leg. Left elbow comes down, right leg goes up. And again, we're twisting towards the back of the chair, twisting the navel towards the ceiling. Your leg that's in the air is getting an internal rotation. Your standing leg is getting an external rotation. We're lifting those kneecaps and drawing the right leg, the leg that's in the air, up higher. Smooth breathing. Release the top buttocks away from the back of the head towards the heels. And exhale, come on down. Going back to our first side. Seeing what our body learned. Get that external rotation of the standing leg. Twist your navel around towards the ceiling. And get that internal rotation of the leg that's in the air. Drawing that leg up higher towards the ceiling. Smooth, rhythmic breathing. Draw the front of the thigh towards the back of the thigh. And then exhale, come on down. Switching that chair again. Opposite leg. Left leg, standing leg, getting that in an external rotation. Right leg up in the air in an internal rotation. Twist your chest and your belly button up towards the ceiling. Extend through the mounds of the big toes. Reach that right leg up higher towards the ceiling. Softening the face, softening the throat, softening the breath. And exhale, come on down. Good. This time we're just gonna turn that chair square to us. And go ahead and get your hands, your wrists right under your shoulders. Getting an external rotation of those shoulders. Spread the collarbones wide. The back of the neck is long, face is parallel to the floor. Keep focusing on that external rotation of the arms so we can get into the neck and the shoulders. Traps, the top shoulders are reaching down towards the bottom shoulders. And then we're going to exhale, draw that left leg up to the air, trying to keep the pelvis square. So imagine you have a bowl of soup on the back of your pelvis. And if we raise that side, the soup will spill. So even if you have to bend your standing leg, your right leg, many of us will have to in order to get the back pelvis square. Extending through the mounds of the big toes, getting the external rotation of the arms and internal rotation of the legs. Lengthening through the spine. Exhale, bring that left leg down. Inhale, right leg up. Again, if you have to bend your standing leg in order to keep your pelvis level, go ahead. Really extending, opening up through the back rib cage. Finding that length. Finding that external rotation of the arms. And exhale, bring that leg down. Great. Move the chair to the side for now. Okay. Our next one, we just want to be flat on the floor, getting the legs wide. Upavista Konasana. Trying to get as much opening in the pelvis as possible. Beautiful. Press through the mounds of the big toes, extend through the inner heels. Engage those kneecaps until they're reaching up towards the hips so that we're engaging the thighs. Spread the sits bones wide, get equal pressure in the sits bones. Find that length in your spine. And just keep allowing for the opening across the groins and the front pelvis. You can even scoot yourself forward, inch yourself forward so that you're getting that subtle opening more and more. Release those outside edges of the knees towards the earth. Release the inside groin towards the earth. Smooth breathing. Good. Try and make it so that there's no space underneath your knees and no space underneath the ankles. So releasing those knees towards the earth, releasing the front femur towards the back femur. Drawing those femurs into the earth. Just going to strengthen and engage and tone our hips and our glutes. And then lengthen, find space in the spine and the side waist. Good. Exhale. Use your hands to draw those legs together. Go ahead and find some padding. Get a blanket to put over your sticky mat. We're just going to open it one step beyond shoulder balance length. And then I'm going to grab our bolster, our blanket, our prop, our block. And if you need another blanket, you might, so just have it near you. I'll demonstrate for you first before you go in, just so you can kind of see the pelvis and what we're looking for. So you may or may not be able to go back. You're going to have to listen to your body. So I'm doing that same action that we were doing in the beginning of class, drawing the bubble of the calf towards the heel and out towards the outside edges. So this is getting that healthy opening in the knee joint again. And then the bolster is a couple inches away from the buttocks. Toes are pointing back. If this is intense for you, grab a block and you won't be lying back. If this is fine for you, then you can move lying backwards. You might need a prop for your head. And the most important thing here is that the buttocks are chasing towards the knees. So we're not overarching in our lower back. We're extending the buttocks towards the knees. And that way the opening is really coming from the thighs and it's not in the back. So again, if this is too intense for you, just get a prop and focus on this one. Otherwise, find your way into Supta Virasana. Good. Yeah, so I'll demonstrate again. As you come in, you grab the calf bubble, reaching it down towards the heels and outwards towards the outside edges of the room. Getting that healthy opening in the knees. The toes point back, straight back. And if you're going back, you lie back, grab something for your head, and scoop with a lot of strength your buttocks away from your head towards your knees. The pose out the lower back and into the fronts of the thighs. And if you just need to focus on Virasana without laying down, that's perfectly wonderful. Focus where you're at. And I have to work into this step by step. Another option is to bring another bolster under you so you have extra height or extra blankets. Really using the props to meet you where you're at. And always listening to your body. Find a position where you feel comfortable, where you feel like you can be in it for 5 minutes. Keep releasing the buttocks towards the knees. Release the outside edges of the knees towards the earth. Palms are facing up. Face is soft. If you were to take a droplet of water and put it on your forehead, it would roll down towards your nose, towards your chin. So you want your chin slightly tucked towards your chest. Make sure you have a little bit of elevation under the back of your head. Smoothing the breath. Extend your tailbone nice and long. Release those pinky toes towards the earth. And then exhale to come up. Just press evenly with your hands, leading with your heart, lifting with your chest. Pausing here for a moment. And then when you're ready, just cross those ankles and bring those legs forward. Good. Coming out symmetrically. And as those legs are straight, you'll lay back on your bolster. Again, your bolster is a few inches away from your buttocks. And then just come back. Head is, palms are up. Go ahead and try and activate those feet and those legs. So try and get the mounds of the big toes to touch each other. Try and get the big toes to touch each other. Try and get the inner heels to touch. Spread wide across the bottoms of your feet to open up the knee joint. Extend and release the lower portion of the leg towards the heels. Release the upper portion of the back of the leg towards the buttocks. Buttocks releasing towards the heels. And so our legs are strong and activated. Engaging the kneecaps, Acting as though you're busting the legs through the floor, having that level of activation and strength in them. So equal pressure in the heels. Again, the lower legs are chasing towards the heels, releasing from the back of the bottom of the knee. And then the upper legs are chasing towards the buttocks, from the backs of the legs. Smooth breathing, keeping those legs strong. Heart is opening, armpit chest is lifting, top shoulders are rolling down the back body. Collarbones are spreading wide. And we're getting that external rotation of our arms. Keep that activation in your inner heels, mounds with big toes, and extend through all 10 fingers. Releasing the pinky finger towards the floor. Getting a nice opening in through your heart. Good, and then exhale, soften, whole body, relax. Just allow the nervous system to soften and relax. Spend the next couple of moments, couple of minutes, relaxing the body. Finding peace, finding stillness. Finding contentment. Allow a gentle smile to cross your face. And we're going to move into a tiny bit of pranayama. For anyone that's under 16, you'll just do normal breathing. For everyone else, we're going to explore these methods of pranayama. So you're going to breathe from the lowest portion of your lung, the last quarter of your lower lung and ribs. Breathe in through there. Pause. Breathe into the second quarter of your ribs, your lungs, going from the bottom up. Pause. Breathe into the third quarter of your ribs, lungs. Pause, and then breathe all the way into the top 1/4, so all the way to the tops of the shoulders. Pause, and then exhale all of your breath. So if you want to know what that looks like, you can just listen or watch for a moment. But we're inhaling in the lower quarter. Pause, second quarter. Pause, third quarter. Pause, fourth quarter to the top of the shoulder. Breathing in, pause. And then just an normal exhale through your nose. Take a few normal breaths between each round. And I'll walk us through to start again in one more breath, and one more normal breath. Exhaling your air. Inhale in the lower quarter of your lungs. Pause. Mid second quarter. Pause. Third quarter. Pause. Fourth quarter. Pause. Exhale through your nose. Going back to normal breath for a few breaths. We're going to go back to the lower quarter. So on your next, go ahead and exhale your air. Inhale at the lower quarter. Pause. Inhale second quarter. Pause. Inhale the third quarter. Pause. Inhale the fourth quarter. Pause. Exhale through your nose. Get a few normal breaths in. The next one, we're actually going to start at the top of the lungs. So we're going to start at that fourth quarter at the top of the shoulders. And we're actually going to be starting on the inhalation and then exhaling, pause, exhaling, pause, exhaling, pause, exhaling, pause. So a couple more normal breaths. And then breathe in a full inhalation. Pausing at the top of your shoulders. Exhale, moving into the second quarter. Pause. Exhale, third quarter. Pause. Exhale, fourth quarter, the lowest portion of the ribs. Pause. Normal breathing. Okay, inhaling to the top of your breath. Pause. Exhale, first quarter. Pause. Exhale, second quarter. Pause. Exhale, third quarter. Pause. Exhale, bottom quarter. Pause. Normal breathing. It's important to stay really relaxed during any of this breath work. So if it ever feels like you're pushing yourself, just back off. I know in the yoga asanas, I'm really pushing you a bit beyond the comfort zones to really build new habits, to really build new strength. It's the opposite for the breath work. We're actually backing off as much as possible, creating as little strain as possible to really support the nervous system. So we'll go through our last round, inhaling through your nose, inhaling to the top of your breath. Pause. Exhale, top quarter. Pause. Exhale, second quarter. Pause. Exhale, third quarter. Pause. Exhale, bottom quarter. Pause. Normal breathing. So pranayama is one of my favorite practices. It's good to either wake up first thing in the morning and you're super relaxed and lay straight down into your pranayama practice, or it's nice to do after your asana practice. Not recommended beforehand. It's great to really release the face, relax the throat, soften every part of your body. And take another minute or two, or as long as you need, in corpse pose. You're welcome to stay here another 10 minutes to really integrate this into your nervous system. I highly recommend that. And if you're ready to roll out and come up, please do. And if not, please stay. You can roll to your right side or stay. I'm just gonna close this class out. Thank you so much for coming. I'm gonna just end this, feel this with Om. Om. Namaste. Enjoy your relaxation. Aloha.